welcome to the very first episode of Unstoppable Conversations. It's a game where we hope to create conversational adventures through meaningful connections and all while playing a game. So joining me today is Calli Veludos. Hi, Calli.
Hey, Andre.
So Calli is a New Zealander, a Zimbabwean, a mother, a really awesome person, a teacher, and the founder of the Ark Education. Would that about sum it up, or do you think you have more to?
Yeah, yeah, that
There's a
about
lot
sums
more
it up.
to, yeah. Um, but Callie, I was thinking about this earlier, and do you remember how we met? Kind of.
Through your tenacity, really,
I,
actually,
I was
Andre.
I was hoping you'd actually share that story because I'd love to hear from your perspective fully. Yeah, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
so I had posted the Ark Education on the Angel Network, which is which is the crowdfunding
Mm,
network, and you contacted me through that.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, it was a really busy time at the time, and you had to contact me several times, if I remember rightly, I actually before I
yeah.
actually said, "Oh, okay." Obviously, this lad is really wanting to get hold of me,
I can't remember. I can't
and
remember
then we
fully.
had from our first conversation, it just head off,
Yeah,
and we've been working together ever since, really,
that's true.
haven't
Yeah.
we?
I remember I offered some PowerPoint design work at the
Oh,
time.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I can't
yes.
remember. I'm not sure, what your impression was. You're like, sheesh, get off my back, or because
Oh, no, no.
when you reach out to people, it's always like a vulnerable, brave move that you take. And
Oh, absolutely. You put yourself in the firing line. No, I didn't think, oh, get off my back
get off
at
my
all.
back.
I was actually felt a little bit guilty because I kept sort of not brushing you off, but forgetting to get back to you.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
But everything in divine timing, I guess, you know?
exactly. Yeah, fond memory. Now we have a story. We have a story about it.
Now we have a
I'm
story.
pretty sure very few people can say that they met through a random PowerPoint design project on a crowd-funded, yeah,
Yes.
business site.
Must have been an intuitive knowing on your part, Andre.
Probably, yeah, probably. I remember when you got back to me, thinking that you were really like receptive and responsive, and I think if I remember correctly, we kind of clicked rather
Mm.
quickly. Yeah, timeline's a bit fuzzy,
Absolutely.
but I remember something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Funnily enough, I think the irony and everything is that there hasn't really been another opportunity for a big PowerPoint project for us together, which is the whole reason that we got connected in the first place.
Absolutely, absolutely. But
Yeah.
now, yeah, now
No,
we're working together almost inextricably.
it's gonna be an exciting year. So, are you ready to
Absolutely.
jump into the game?
I am. I'm looking forward to it,
I'm
I
excited. Yeah,
think.
it's just a little bit dangerous. That's all. I'm quite excited. Yeah. So here it is. Let me know if you can see it.
I can see it.
All right. Yeah. So I'll explain to you briefly how the game works. It's basically
Yeah.
just it's not really an interview, but it's going to be a conversation between the two of us. And I thought
Mhm.
that having it in the style of a game, of a PowerPoint, giving you some control over the questions you get and things like that, and the order of the questions, we just kind of add an extra element to the game. So anybody who's watching, Callie really doesn't have any idea what's waiting for her. Um,
I have no idea.
I
None.
I actually learned a lot about Well, I learned one really crucial thing about making PowerPoints while making this game as well. So I'm really excited to share with everyone.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. So let's jump into it. I'm gonna throw you into the deep end right away. But I think that's the best way to do it. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready. Go
All
for
right,
it.
let's go. Let's start game. Okay, so the first part, on the right here, I've got a timer, and I'm gonna give you, I think it's about 31 to 35 seconds to tell everybody as much as you can about yourself. Just imagine I'm asking,
Ooh,
tell me about yourself. So whatever comes out, whatever you feel that you need to share, whoever you feel you are at this moment, this is your stage.
okay.
So we can talk about it afterwards. Okay. Uh, 3, 2,
Okay.
1, go. Yeah.
Okay. For one thing, I find being put on the spot a little bit daunting at times. But being a teacher of over 30 years, you put on the spot quite often.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was born in Zimbabwe a long time ago. And, and I my father passed away when I was quite young, so I was pretty much brought up by my mum, but probably more so by my nanny at
Mhm.
the time, because as you know, being South African
Yeah.
in Africa, that whole culture of having a nanny look
Mm.
after your children was and I don't know if it is still prevalent, but it was at the time. So I was an only child. I um, loved to learn. I never felt lonely, though, even though I was an only child. I had lots of friends who I'd go and visit, even
Mm.
at the ripe old age of 5 years old. I was always heading down the road to go and see my mates.
Okay.
And I grew up. Well, my mum got remarried when I was about 10, and we moved out to the countryside. And I was actually brought up on thoroughbred stud farm,
Mhm.
and my mother was the leading breeder in Southern Africa for quite some time.
Wow.
So I've always been surrounded by animals. I've always loved animals.
Mm.
But I was never really a horsey person, so to
Okay.
speak. I had,
Very
I
s-
did, I did reach the junior A grade classes of, show jumping and dressage, but yeah, much to my mum's disappointment, I never really took it up as anything serious. I went to university in Cape Town,
Oh, wow.
where I studied fine art for my first year and then went on to do an education degree. Hang on a minute, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, I've just had to yell at my son.
That's okay. All mothers can relate, as can mine.
I have a son.
Yeah. Is it past his bedtime?
I have a 21-year-old son.
Yeah.
And a daughter who's 19. So when I left university, I went home for a few months, but then I went over to England, and I lived in England for 7 years. I got married to a Zimbabwean, and we left England in 1998 and came here to New Zealand.
Mm.
We've since been divorced, but I did have two beautiful children
Yeah.
with my ex-husband. And when we moved to New Zealand, we moved to Rotorua, And in about 5 years ago, I moved down here to Wellington, or to the Wellington region. So yeah, I'm sure that's more than 30 seconds.
Yeah. That's not the point though, is it? Yeah, the point is that just that you shared with us, and I appreciate you sharing it. Sharing your life story a little bit with us.
It was a very brief summary, believe you me.
I can
There's a
imagine.
lot in between.
I think we'll be able to peer beneath the surface tonight with our conversational game. But thank you so much for sharing, Kelly. Well, there's so much I'd like to ask you about that story, but I think the questions that I prepared might do some of the talking already. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing. Okay,
You're
so
welcome.
on this screen, you'll see there are a few mysterious boxes, and this is where your choice comes into play. The first three,
Oh.
this one, and this one. These are the
Mhm.
first three categories, and this little one I'm saving right till the end. So you can
Okay.
kind of tell me which box you want, and each box represents a category. And there are
Okay.
different questions in this category, and
Hmm.
we'll just kind of, hmm,
I want box two.
box two, okay, let's go into it then.
Am I jumping the
Box
gun?
two, there it is. Okay, box two's category is a little coachy. So these are kind of coaching related questions, you might say. Okay. Okay, here's the first one where we're going in the deep end. Who's been influential in your life, and what qualities in that person or in other people do you generally admire?
Okay. Funny enough, I was just having a conversation um, just before this live with my group about people who influence.
Hmm.
Um, do you know, my problem with that was that I've never really been influenced
Hmm. Okay.
by anyone,
Yeah.
in that I've always been um, very self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And that sounds a bit smug, but I don't mean it to
Oh,
be smug, because it's actually not always an advantage.
yeah.
Because when you're fiercely independent, you tend to not allow people in or
Mm,
to influence you, and sometimes it's actually good to be influenced.
yeah.
So, but who's been influential in my life?
Well, if you feel strongly
My
like that stance, that's also an
Yeah, well,
amazing thing.
yeah, I guess, look, my mum was really influential in my life, not in, um, yeah, in an unusual way, really. Her parenting style was very different to most
Mm,
mums. She wasn't a mumsy mum, and I
okay.
guess that's also what's given me my very strong, independent outlook on life.
Yeah.
Um, and she was funny, and she was very gregarious, and I guess I picked up some of those things. Although I like to be alone a lot more than she ever did,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'd say my mum has influenced me in that way. She passed away um, over 20 years ago now, but when I look back on things, that's probably been one of my biggest influences.
Yeah.
And now at the moment, hmm, I don't know. there's
That's okay.
there's a combination, I guess. There's a combination of people that influence me, but not in that way where I am being led by my nose. It's
Yeah.
more that they influence me in the way they challenge me and
Hmm.
get me to think about who I am and what I'm doing and what my path is in life.
Yeah.
And one of them is you, Andre, and
Thank
and
you.
and a lot of other people who I've met along the way through this business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So you could
touching.
say the business has been an influence in my life.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
a really powerful stance. I really enjoy that because a lot of people, I think, it's easy to be influenced by others at a lot of stages of your life. So I really find
Mm,
that like quite powerful for you to have that position and that kind of strength within yourself to have that stance. Yeah, that's
mm.
pretty cool. So let
Thanks.
me give the reverse of that question in a way. Um, how or in what way would you like to influence others? Like, what would you like your influence to be? Do you even want to influence others? Or is that like,
That's a really good question. Do I want to influence others? No, I don't actually.
yeah.
I want to serve others
Mm-hmm.
in a way that allows them to become everything that they are capable of being.
Yeah.
Um, and that's not by my influence, that's by
Mm,
them recognizing who they really are.
yeah.
And my service to them would be that I could facilitate the environment where they can find themselves.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense, especially because I know you and because we've interacted a lot, and it what you're saying shines through in how you act and the words you choose to use. Um, yeah. Would you replace the word influence with another word? Like, meaning, does the word
um,
influence like have some negative connotations to you?
yeah, I guess it does.
Yeah.
You kind of think of influence almost
Yeah.
as a manipulative thing. I would say be of service, who's been of service in my life.
Mm,
And then I would tell you everyone has,
yeah. Yeah.
because everyone has played some kind of part in my growth. I'm a really true believer in the fact, in the concept that everything happens for a reason and everything is exactly as it should be.
Mm,
Um, we draw the people that we need to be learning from in
yeah.
any given moment to ourselves, really. So everyone is really important. Yeah.
Well, already I'm loving this conversation because when I was creating this game, I didn't think twice about the word influence, but just through our conversation and like the energy and what we're saying and how we're feeling, I'm already the perspective shift is there, which I
Yeah,
just I mean this is the reason that I
that's
created
awesome.
this game. I love this. Yeah. Thank you already for your really refreshing answers already. Thank you. Yeah. All right.
This is
Should we
fun. Let's
should we go
keep
back to the
going.
the board and we can check what else you want to do? So
Let's
now
go
you
for
have the
one.
option. You'll see that there are these
Oh
little
yeah.
circles here. Each
Oh
of these
yes.
also represents a question. So if you want to continue down the same road, we can click a circle and keep going there, or we can go to a different category.
Oh, well, yeah. Let's click a circle. You pick the
That's one.
circle to click.
All right, I'll pick the fourth one. One, two, three. I'll pick the fourth one. Uh,
Oh, this is a scary
oh,
one now.
all right. Oh, this one's a little
Ah.
lighter. What are your favorite self-love behaviors or tips?
Um, oh, some of them are shocking, I guess.
Please spill the beans.
Well, I start every day by meditating.
Okay.
Um, my most favorite time of the day is early in the morning when I can be with myself, um, and just I guess, escape this 3D world
Yeah.
and transcend it. And yeah, so for me, it's really important that I have the time for quiet
Mhm.
and for just being, and really, really important. If
Yeah.
I don't have that, I'm usually ratty as hell for the rest of the day. Um, so that's the first one. I I actually, my love language is cooking. So I actually enjoy cooking, not for myself so much, but for everybody else and
Yeah.
for family. So but it's that act of service, and that I find it really relaxing. So I enjoy to cook. So I cook quite often. Sometimes, sometimes we're really busy, and it's not as meditative as you'd like it to be. But like if I if I need a bit of time out and I'm wanting to show some love, I
Yeah.
usually find a really great recipe, and I'll have a go. Um,
Oh, that's
Gardening, I love my garden. That is my other. It's a little haven, so I spend a lot of time in the garden, earthing, getting my hands dirty,
yeah.
creating,
Yeah. Well, you're tending
planting,
for life, aren't
nurturing.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to put some pictures of my garden up sometime.
Yeah, that would be
It's
great.
not it's not the neatest, tidiest of gardens, but it is a very, very productive one. And
Mm.
um, I go out and talk to it every day, at least twice a day. I talk to my babies.
Do you have
Always,
any
always.
veggies
My
and fruit?
children laugh at me. Sorry.
Do you have any veggies and fruits growing there, or is it like flowers and
Oh, that's it's basically an edible garden. So
oh, I'm gonna
I
come
hardly
visit your
have to
garden
buy.
then. That's good.
It's a, I hardly ever buy any vegetables
Wow.
um, anywhere else. The plums are in season at the moment, so I'm gathering plums like it's going out of fashion. But yeah, we've got apple trees, a nashi pear tree, a peach tree. We've got plum trees, um, and that's just on this property here. I live on a regenerative farm, so next door they've got pears and
Yeah.
avocados and all sorts of things. So,
Mm.
um, yeah, it's a lovely place to be, and I I I am partial to going for a skinny dip in the sea every now and again. I find that is um, a wonderful way to um, collect your negative ions, I guess.
Okay. I've
These,
never heard this before in my life. I love that.
um, well, I try not to subject other people to my to my skinny dipping.
Yeah, we
So
would
here
have
in New
to
Zealand,
dive into it.
here in New Zealand, we're really lucky. We've got these enormously expansive beaches and hardly anybody on them. Um, and
Perfect recipe.
they do have they do have these nudist sections of beaches and things, which people avoid because they're afraid that they're going to bump up against somebody who's nude, but there's usually nobody on the
Oh,
beach. So
wow.
that's pretty awesome. That's when I go skinny dipping.
So the best
So
part
yeah,
about the nude beach is that there's no one there. Love that.
exactly. So you can swim nude and nobody
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
So yeah, and walking on the beach is really important for me. you know, it's all about grounding, I guess. So I like to walk along the beach and then go for a swim. Um, what are my other self-love habits? Oh, I guess, yeah, lots of people like soaking in the bath. I don't. I'm, I'm I run quite hot, so I don't enjoy sitting in a spa for hours or lying in a bath for hours.
Yeah,
That's not my idea of relaxation.
makes sense.
So yeah, that's about it, I think.
I love the part that you mentioned about cooking for others, because it makes me think that sometimes we think self-love is just with just about ourselves, but it can also be about other people because taking care of them,
Mm,
being kind to them and loving them,
mm,
actually you're putting all of that onto your own mind and your own self as well. Not to say that it's like a
absolutely,
selfish thing, but it's just the act of kindness towards others is also one to yourself. Of
absolutely, very reciprocal. Mm,
course, yeah. All right.
mm.
Next question. Are we sticking with the same category or are we changing it up a bit?
Oh, yeah. Should we go to one and see what?
Is that your final answer?
Is it the money or the box?
All right, I'll do number one. Number one is let's get personal.
Ooh. Can we go back to a little
No,
backseat?
no, no, no backsies, no backsies.
Okay.
Right. Oh, I love this question. It's the first one I wrote down, literally. So, if you could sit around a table and have a coffee or a drink and a chat with 5 people alive today, who would you choose and tell us about why?
Hmm.
Doesn't have to be coffee or a drink.
Well, funny enough, I sat around the table and had a chat and a coffee and a really good laugh with 5 people over the New Year's, and I couldn't have been happier. So they're really good friends of mine, and we all got to know each other a little better, and that was great. But who would I like to have a chat with that
That
in a
sounds
metaphorical sense? I guess one would be William Whitecloud. I don't know if you're familiar with his work. He wrote natural. What was it again? Do you think I can remember the
yeah,
title of
that's
the
the name
book
of his
now?
book, but you've spoken about it.
Secrets to Natural Success.
Okay.
The 5 secrets to natural success. And he's a really interesting man. He's South African as well, even though you'd think with a name like William Whitecloud, he'd be Native American.
That's true.
um, he's a very interesting man. Uh, I'd enjoy to have a conversation with him. He's challenging. I don't think he'd be um, all fuzzy ducks
Yeah.
and
At least
sparkles.
substance to the
He
conversation.
he cuts to the chase and is
Yeah.
very perceptive and just doesn't take any crap from anyone. So I quite like those kind of people.
Yeah.
Um, so he'd be one. He'd be the. I'd love to have a conversation with Bruce Lipton.
Who's
Um,
that? Who's that?
have you come across Bruce Lipton before?
No.
So he is. I guess he's a metaphysicist.
Okay.
He's um, he's somebody you should look up. Actually, he's um, very au fait with quantum theory
Hmm.
and quantum physics.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Sounds interesting.
but
Yeah.
yeah, he'd be a really interesting person to have a conversation with as well. And actually, even with William Whitecloud, it
Yeah.
would be an even better conversation, I think. Um, Oh,
If-
unfortunately, I'd like to have a conversation with Esther, who is, I don't know if you've heard about Esther. She channels Abraham.
Okay.
Have you
Just,
ever come across
yeah,
her on YouTube?
I I think I've heard her name before, but I haven't explored anything she does. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to Abraham through Esther.
Okay.
And how many is that? That's two. That's three, isn't it?
Yeah.
Two more.
Yeah.
Crikey. Probably Dr. Joe Dispenza would be another one that I'd like to have a conversation with.
I've heard of him
And yeah,
for sure.
and all these people would be amazing to talk with
Yeah,
all together
the
because
combinations of them. Yeah, I think that would be cool.
yeah, it would be a mind-blowing conversation. And I'd probably sit there like a stunned mullet, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, and probably the last one, she's not alive today, unfortunately. But if she were, I would choose Dolores Cannon. Have you heard of Dolores Cannon?
I have not actually. It feels like I've been living under a rock, it seems.
You're young. You've got a lot of reading to catch up on, Andre. These people will probably challenge and blow your mind, to be
Mm,
honest. They've all come from similar but different perspectives, if that makes sense. And they're all people who have experienced the magical side of life, I guess,
mm,
the real
that's great.
magical side of life, and have incredible insight and um, yeah, they're real, they're true teachers. Yeah,
Mm.
that's who. So those are the five people I'd like to have a
Sound-
conversation
It
with.
sounds like you'll come out of that conversation like a whole different person, it seems.
Oh, I'm not sure you'd come out of that conversation, to be honest.
That's your happy face, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you just ascend and disappear.
I was
Uh,
when I wrote this question, I was thinking about my five people as well. I think it would be interesting.
yeah, you.
Yours, yours seems a lot more mind-blowing than my five people.
Oh, no, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who were your five?
I had uh I had Elon Musk. Um, I just the work that he does and the way he does it. I've read his book as well. It's just um it just seems like superhuman in a sense. I think he's made like
Mm,
$7 billion companies and you know, people have said a lot of different things about who he is, but I just think it would be an interesting experience meeting him.
yeah. Mm,
Jordan Peterson is in there, Dr. Jordan Peterson, the
mm-hmm,
Canadian
mm-hmm,
psychologist. Um, yeah, the way he speaks is just, it's like power emanates from his mouth.
mm,
Like the way he chooses his words is something I admire a lot, actually. Something that
mm,
I'd like to work towards. He just speaks with a
yeah.
lot of clarity and like intention in every single word he chooses. And even when
Mm.
he's thinking, when he's not speaking, you can tell like something really important is going on in his mind right now. Um,
Yeah.
so those are the first two. The third one would be uh, one of the Belgian field hockey players. I don't have a specific person in mind per se, but the reason I'm choosing them is because I love field hockey. It's my favorite sport, and I got
Yeah.
it like later than what people normally get into their favorite sport. It was only I was around 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just grew to be my absolute passion. And around about that time, I started watching hockey as well. And the Belgian team, they were kind of like in the top 10, but they were really never really going to win anything. And as I've
Yeah.
played hockey and been watching hockey, I mean, it's not due to my effect at all, but I'm just like giving the timeline. They they got better and they became like a really unstoppable team in the hockey world, and they won the Olympic Games and the World Cup and a lot of other big tournaments.
Mm,
So I'd love to know just how it feels, to be there at the Olympic Games, singing your national anthem, and then to go on and win a competition like that, because it just
yeah.
must take incredible training to get there, to have that mindset, to be better than who you were the previous year, and still to be
Mm,
better than your opponent and control your body and just it'll be incredible, yeah.
mm.
And the other two people I seem to have forgotten now. Um,
Mm.
yeah. In all of that, I'd like to have my wife there as well. I think like just sharing that experience with her, like we've been through a lot together and we just love doing everything together. Having her there in the conversation, like it would just be, yeah, it would be amazing because I wouldn't want to have that conversation without her being there
Without
experiencing
her,
it.
which
Well,
is lovely. Yeah.
and the fifth one,
Your mum?
I mean, I'd love my mom there as well and my dad. Um, then that would be six. So I can't choose between the two of them. So I'm gonna leave it at
Oh,
four.
sure, there's room for another one at the table.
I'm leaving it at four. I'm leaving it at four. Yeah. We'll have our own separate conversation, family only. Um, yeah, I'm not sure right now. Um, I'll have to give it more thought and get back to you. Yeah. But those are
Excellent.
the people that stood out, yeah. Oh, one of them was Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah. I'd love to have a
Oh,
chat.
yes.
I mean,
Yes,
he's
because he's
hilarious.
very funny.
He comes from South Africa, he's moved around the
Yeah.
world. Just like Elon Musk, actually. He's also South African.
Mm.
I think
Well,
the way he
he
handles
was,
himself, you know,
mm,
the way he handles himself, like he did the Daily Show and his comedy shows. He's funny, but in a very like insightful way. And he brings
mm,
light to important issues, not to ridicule them, almost to kind of uh almost make fun of like how we're ignoring them or how we're building them up, I
yes.
just his whole demeanor, I think, is really good. Yeah, it's impressive.
He's very funny.
Mm,
Um, very cutting edge.
yeah. And I think
Mm.
the conversation would need some balance because if you've got Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk there, like somebody needs to crack a joke at some point. Yeah,
Yes.
somebody needs to crack. Also, I'm thinking of another person, Benedict Cumberbatch, the actor. He's played in one of
Oh,
my
yes.
favorite movies of all time, The Imitation Game. I'd love to know if who he is on the screen is in any way similar to who he is in real life, and just to hear his story. And yeah,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
those would be my five. Yeah.
He always comes across as a really genuine, lovely person, actually,
That's,
like in interviews and things like that, chat shows and things. So,
yeah.
mm.
Benedict Cumberbatch, if you're watching, come play Unstoppable Conversations with me. We'll tag him.
Well, you never know. You never know. You might have to hunt him down and
Yeah,
put this up on his Facebook channel or
I'm
something.
sure people will help me out if I try hard enough. They'll just keep
Yeah, you
at me.
never
Yeah.
know. Maybe even Elon might come on here.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. If they'll come on together.
Yeah, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
I could have all five of them around a coffee table. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Right,
Okay.
so you've got a lot of choices here. You've got the third category, which might be calling your name, or you want to keep being personal or keep being coachy. They're all kind of
Well,
interesting,
Let's go for
fun.
the third category. Let's go and see what's on there.
Okay, so the third category is that's a tough one, which I'm hoping you'll actually say after you hear the question, just for cinematic effect. So nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Okay, I'm being primed.
But not all of them are actually that tough, to be honest. I think all of these questions could fall under one category too. Yeah. All right, first one. What brings you great joy and fulfillment?
Oh, that's a tough one.
You, I appreciate that.
It's actually not very tough, to be honest.
I knew
What
I knew that for you it wouldn't be tough, but I think for some people it could be a challenging
it
question.
might be, yeah. I guess it could be challenging. A lot of things bring me joy and fulfillment, to be honest.
Give me top three or
My
top
children,
five. Yeah.
yeah, my children bring me joy and fulfillment and headaches and belly aches as well, believe you me. But mostly joy and fulfillment. It's been a privilege to watch them grow into amazing young adults. So that's one. My garden brings me joy and fulfillment when I look out of my kitchen window and see my huge sunflowers smiling back at me. It gives me a sense of
Yeah,
fulfillment, that's for
I
sure.
can imagine.
um, my business, although it can be really frustrating at times, because I want everything done yesterday and I'm still learning, but
I feel you.
crikey, that it has been a huge challenge for me and a huge learning curve,
Yeah,
but great joy and fulfillment in that too.
should
What
be.
I've accomplished in 2 years from nothing,
Yeah,
literally nothing. No money, no idea about how to put anything together, to having built what I have now is a huge sense of fulfillment
tell us
and
more.
joy.
Yeah, please tell us more. We can piggyback on this.
Why?
Hmm?
Tell us why it's been a huge fulfillment.
No. That I think that's clear. But tell us more about your business. Obviously, I know a little bit.
So yeah, I mean, my business was born out of, I guess the universe gave me a good kick up the bum because I was in a very, I guess, comfortable career. Although I spent my entire life or my entire career swimming upstream, which isn't very comfortable, but it was a good income. Um, I was in a managerial position at a school, looking, working with students with learning support needs, um, which I love, and Um, with the mandates in New Zealand, I chose not to comply, and so I had to walk away from my career. And at the time, it was devastating. It was absolutely devastating for me and very scary. Like it was my one source of income, sort of thing, and that it scared the pants off me, to say the least. But that's how the Ark Education was born.
Yeah.
Was you know um, what did they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. you know, and I was really lucky to join up with two other fantastic women who were in the same boat as me, and I had this idea, and they they were absolutely integral and essential in actually starting the business.
Yeah.
Although they moved on, and I have continued with the business, it was really important that they were there, because I probably would have not had the confidence to just get up and go on my own. We had no money. All three of us were pretty, living hand to mouth. So we ended up having to build the website ourselves, and it was started by one of the woman's daughters, actually, set up the initial website or the landing page, and then I took over and basically created the website that is the Ark Education today, with absolutely no previous experience. I learned how to do Canva, I learned how to do social media, I learned how to do everything that is absolutely essential for an online business these days. But the most important thing for me about the Ark Education is that it's an opportunity, or it facilitates a paradigm shift, which is desperately needed, not only in education, but in life, I guess, itself in this day and age. And that paradigm shift is shifting from that idea around compliance and control to sovereignty, and to people, young and old, taking responsibility for the reality they create. But we're not taught to do that. We're taught the exact opposite. We're taught to do what we're told, and be what we're told to be, and work all your life and retire when you're 65, and if you're lucky, and then you can start enjoying your freedom, and I don't think that is the lot for humanity. I truly believe that this is now the time for us to come into our own as human beings. And an education system that encourages that is what my path, or my objective is, through the Ark Education. It could become a systemic model of how education could be, because really what it should be is about connection, communication, and creativity. Those are the three things that we should be teaching our kids. Just three things. There's a lot in those three things, but those three things should be what drives. And that's what the Ark is about, connecting people, communicating, and being creative, creating our reality, and creating a community, and creating collaboratively. That's the other thing. I'm very much, collaboration is the only way forward. The only way forward I can see. I think competition has had its day, and it's now time to drop that stick
And collaborate.
And collaborate. Yeah. No. So how's that for a long answer?
I hope people listen to every single word that you said in that message, because I know that it will resonate with a lot of people. And you definitely, just from us working together, I can tell, like, that's what shines through and through. definitely collaboration, connection, communication, creativity. What you've
Mhm.
taught me a lot is people think creativity is like art and painting and music, but creativity is about creation, and creation is everything basically. It's like a very broad term, very broad definition. It can mean anything. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. Everybody,
Yeah,
please. Yeah.
basically we're creating our reality
Mhm.
every second, every moment. Whether we're doing that consciously or unconsciously is the question.
Happening. Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree with that 100%. We've spoken of about that a lot in our unrecorded, unshared conversations.
Yes,
It
we have.
definitely is true. That I always, when people doubt that, it's very evident to me because we keep coming back to these like same cycles of life. Basically, people keep putting themselves in
Mm.
these patterns, myself included, because if you just work on autopilot sometimes, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
fall back into that pattern because that's your subconscious mind and your beliefs, um, like just kind of recreating your
Absolutely.
reality for you. And you've got to break out of that. And
Well, yeah,
your self-love
it's your
tips
programming.
in your behaviors, yeah.
Mm. It,
Your self-love behaviors
yeah.
really, I can see how they just set you up for a wonderful day every day, because it's that conscious response and intention to create, which really it comes through in all of your
Mm.
activities. Yeah, I love that. Cool. Okay, so
Thank
let's go
you.
back to the board. Um, yeah, which
Maybe
one
we
would
should
you
go
like?
for the last one. You don't want to be boring people, do you?
Okay, let's do one more. Let's do a get
Okay,
person one,
one more.
because the get person
Okay.
ones are a peek into the window that is Calli, but they're fun and entertaining as well. Yeah, I have to
Okay,
remember
go for
what
it.
order they're
You
in
choose.
because I want to get you.
He's going to choose the hardest one.
I know what number four is. Okay, let's do number four, then we'll do one more, and we'll close it off.
Oh, okay.
Because number four is a lightning round.
Whoa.
Lightning.
Okay.
So I'm basically just gonna give you a series of options. It's basically this or that, right? This or that, blue or red,
Okay.
blah, blah,
Okay.
blah. And you just tell me which
That
option it is,
sounds
and
like
I'll
fun.
click it. And yeah, and also this is my favorite part because I'll show you at the end. I had to learn a new skill to add to my PowerPoint
Oh.
repertoire in order to make this part as cool as it could be. Which actually came from the motivation of my wife as well. Yeah. All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay,
Go.
let's go. Mm. Okay. So the first one, series or movies?
Movies.
Okay, that's loud. Let's go to the next one. Music or reading?
Music.
Ooh, right. Summer or winter?
Winter.
Ooh. Fiction or non-fiction?
Fiction.
City or countryside?
Countryside.
There it is. And those are your five responses to the lightning round questions. And this part, actually, I had to do some coding to get this to automatically generate based on your responses. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So everything I clicked on kind of, this slide was blank before we started. Yeah. So it kind of inputted them
That's
into the
very
slide. Yeah.
clever.
I thought for sure you would choose nonfiction above fiction. So that kind of surprised me. Yeah, yeah, I even had my mouse going in that direction. Um,
No,
the
fiction.
the countryside one, I kind of saw it coming because of your upbringing and just just the way that you are.
Yeah.
It really shines through. Winter, interesting to me as well.
Mm.
Do you
I,
like the cold, or
I,
is it what is it about it that you?
I, yeah. I'm just a winter person, really. I sounds funny, but I run really hot, and you know, I find summer gets really uncomfortable for me. I don't like
Yeah,
being hot, and I love summer too. Don't get me wrong, but winter, I've always said that you can put on layers, but you can't take your skin off.
exactly, exactly. That would be
And
my
I
reason as
sleep
well.
better. Yeah, I sleep better, and I quite like hibernating. You know that feeling of like I
Yes.
don't have to go anywhere or be anywhere because it's
Mm,
yeah yeah. Summer is very um activity orientated. You know,
it is,
you
yeah.
feel like you need to be out and about and doing stuff.
You're
Winter,
either,
not so much.
yeah, in summer you're either making use of the sunshine or you're trying not to move so that you don't sweat. Those are basically the extreme, especially here in Beijing.
Yeah.
Like but the problem is in Beijing is because of the pollution, it's not always a pleasant heat. It's
Mm,
like a sticky heat.
a
So
real,
my
yeah.
answer is
Mm,
100% winter as well. Even though the cold can be intense, it's just like you've got to escape the summer. It's yeah.
yeah.
Would you
Yeah, I wouldn't survive, I don't think.
what would you add to this lightning round? Is there any question that you'd add? Because I'm trying to make the game better and more fun. And is there a one that you were hoping
Oh,
or
you could
expecting?
do something like dancing or sport or
Hmm. Yeah, some sport.
I'd choose dancing.
I choose sport.
I was in the beginners tennis team for 3 years before they asked me to leave.
Hmm. What? Oh,
I
did you
was in
leave?
the beginners I was in the beginners tennis club or tennis group at
Hmm.
school before they asked me to leave for 3 years. I can't play tennis to save my life. It's because I've got Irlen syndrome, and my depth perception,
Right.
is like really off. I think that I'd be going whacking that ball something chronic, and it would be like half an inch away from my racket. and
I,
and hence hockey and anything that had
yeah.
balls in motion. Mm-mm.
Mm,
I wasn't too bad at. I wasn't too bad at. I was a swimmer, so
okay.
that had no balls involved at all,
Yeah.
and nobody to let down either.
Yeah. Nothing crashing into you besides, I guess, the
No,
wall on the other side.
the wall on the other
Wow.
side if you were careful. Yeah.
I'm truly
um,
shocked, actually. A beginner's
yeah.
tennis club asking you to leave. That's they should get a strongly worded letter for that. I mean, I would assume the purpose of a beginner's anything club is for people who are, let's just call it below average at the thing to participate.
But when you're below average for 3 years in a row, I think they just said, give up, mate. Don't worry about it. Try something else.
There's like a time limit. There's like a time limit how long you can be below average.
Oh dear.
If only you
I
improved.
didn't take offense, I was relieved.
You're probably thankful. If
I
only
could
you
go
improved
home
a
and
day
say to my mum,
earlier.
oh, I went home and said to my mum, they asked me to leave, I'm never going back. Put a big
Oh.
smile on my face.
I quite enjoy. I've played tennis a few times, like never anything serious, never a match or anything. It's one of those sports
Mm,
that looks easier than it is. Like I always,
yeah.
when I visualize, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna place it there in the corner. Like obviously, it's not gonna be like 100 kilometers an hour or whatever, but I can place it in the corner. Like look how big the court is. But it's surprisingly difficult,
It is.
times I have played it,
It's
yeah.
quite skillful, I think.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I love ball sports. Like I'm naturally quite adept at most sports and like picking it up really quickly, even if I don't understand it that much. But yeah, tennis is definitely a lot more challenging than what it seems for sure. I think
Well, funny enough,
badminton
I
is
can play badminton.
yeah,
I think because the shuttlecock is probably slower than the ball,
yes. And
and you're playing up here rather than with a bounce. And
yeah,
yeah, I think
there's no
it is a,
spin. Mm.
yeah, there's no spin, there's no, you know, yeah,
You need
I
less
think it's just,
control for badminton because you can
yeah.
smash it and it will barely go anywhere, which is great.
Yeah, exactly.
I quite enjoy
Oh, the other
badminton.
one you could do, which is quite revealing, is cats or dogs.
Oh, cats or dogs. I was considering that. Consider
I always think that
I
I'm
was
a cat
thinking,
person. I
hmm,
love dogs too, but if I had to, I'd have a cat. Oh, well, I do have a cat,
yeah.
over a dog.
What about fruits or veggies? Is that, would you think that would be a good one?
Uh, yeah,
I
I
mean,
would go for veggies because
yeah. I'd
I'm
go for
actually quite
fruits.
a, oh, sweet or savory. That's quite a
Sweet
good
or
one to
savory,
go
yeah.
for.
Yeah. I mean, I did a quick Google search, just
Oh,
to
did
see if
you?
I could improve on my list in any way. But I got like 250 this or that, or 150 of these, and I don't have time. I ended up changing one of them, which was I had a really naughty one actually. I had, instead of city or countryside, I had family or friends, with the idea in mind, like if you really had to choose, like a bullet train was coming, like some serious emergency, who would you choose? Just just to throw a feather in the works, because I mean, obviously we all value family, like most people value family, but there are a lot of situations where people haven't had like pleasant experiences with
Your
both
parents is,
friends or family, and yeah, I think it could be quite a flavorful
it could
answer to that
be
one. But I'll leave it
a
out.
meaty one.
Yeah, I'll leave it out. All right,
Yeah.
let's do one
Oh,
more personal one because I think they're quite fun. Yeah, and then we'll finish off.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna break the rules of my own game. Um, if you're okay with that, and
Yeah, I'm
find
fine.
find the one that I'd like to ask you.
Yeah,
Um,
go for
yes,
it.
here it is. I found it. So, if you could open up a recreational resort of any kind, what kind of resort would you open? And what food and drink would you serve there? So this is
I
like
would
anything.
definitely do a retreat center.
Okay, that's cool.
Meditation, yoga,
Mm,
just um and the food that I would serve would be the food that I grew in the garden.
that's perfect. That is
So
perfect.
it would probably be vegetarian.
Mm.
Yeah.
Are you?
Not that I'm vegetarian. I'm
Oh,
not vegetarian. No, I used to be. For many years, I was vegetarian, and then when I got married, my ex-husband was a real meat and potatoes man. Vegetables were like not on his radar at all. And
they had
so
to change it up.
I started eating meat again. It's not that it's I don't have a conviction. I think that everything was put on this earth for a reason.
Mm,
Um, and as long as they're happy while they're alive, then that's part of their service as well
yeah.
to the earth and to humanity. But yeah, I would go, fresh vegetarian food,
I'm assuming you'd cook it yourself
nutrient
as
rich.
well, because
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely. So
that's
yeah, I would have a retreat center with,
yeah.
you know, walks. walks that you can go and do, and by the sea, so you can go for a swim.
Would there be a skinny dipping section by chance?
Yeah, I'm sure there would be. I'd like to have an outdoor bath, actually.
Oh, that sounds
Um,
cool.
just an outdoor bath that you can go and relax in.
Mm,
They're quite popular here in New Zealand because,
yeah.
the scenery here is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds
yeah,
wonderful.
that's what I would do.
Mm. Oh, I hope you can make that happen one day. That sounds really amazing. The Ark Education
Yeah,
Treating.
it's definitely on my bucket list,
Yeah.
I'd love to have a property where that I lived on, but also that I could
Mm,
offer
retreats.
offer and especially for people that really needed it, and I'd love to have enough resources to make it a free,
Mm,
a free service.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's amazing. Okay,
Yeah,
I know it's late where you are in New Zealand. Anybody can do it. So
I'm fading back.
give me the word and I'll open up the final little boxy section.
Open up the final little boxy section.
Stop copying.
Open it up.
All right, the final one is just the before you go kind of section. Yeah, so the first one, is there anything that's been on your mind lately that you just feel that you need to share?
Um, what's been on my mind lately?
Mm, mm,
Well, the last few days, it's been the value of friendship and the value of connection, actually. Um, I've spent the last three, 3 or 4 days, well, since Christmas Eve, really, um, connecting with people that I knew that were friends, but in a much more meaningful,
mm,
deeper, reciprocal way, and it's been revealing, but also really, really quite beautiful in the friendships that have come together on, just a few days of spending time
yeah,
with people that you spend time with, but you don't really spend time with, if you know what I mean.
I understand. Yeah.
The conversations, and we spent an evening playing games and just laughed so much that we kind of all went to bed with a bellyache because it was
That's
just
awesome.
so funny.
That's
um,
awesome. Yeah.
the importance of connection, I think
Mm,
that's what's been on my mind, because I can tend to be a little bit insular, not not in maybe insular is not the right word. I can be a bit of a hermit sometimes. I can lock myself away and just enjoy my garden and do whatever I want to do
mm,
whenever I want to do it. Yeah.
mm.
So
Thank you for
yeah,
sharing that. Yeah.
that's been on my mind.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, what's been the best part of playing this game?
Chatting with you.
Hmm, sounds
Just
lovely.
having the
I have to
conversation.
do it
Yeah.
sometime. Yeah.
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 I'll have to play this game with you.
Yeah, I'd be open to it. Really catch people off
I'll
guard.
be
Yeah.
the game master.
Um, yeah. Did you learn anything new about yourself during this game? And if you did, would you mind sharing it, or is it coherent enough to share?
Um, what did I learn that's new about myself?
Maybe you didn't. Eh, Just if you did, yeah.
Hmm, that I'm not actually as scared to share, or I'm not afraid to be vulnerable,
Hmm. Wow, that
which I've
sounds good.
always thought
Yeah.
which I always thought I was afraid to be vulnerable. And some people have said, oh, you're afraid to be vulnerable, but
Mm,
I'm not actually. I'm quite happy to share give of myself and yeah, reveal my loves and
Yeah. You were
yeah,
very,
reveal myself.
yeah, you were very kind of forthright in your answers, which I really appreciated and loved because I'm not, I didn't intend for it to be a vulnerable creating kind of questions and vulnerable creating kind of situation. But I resonated with all of your answers just because they were really just they were the truth in a way. It was it was like your words were embodying your being basically. It wasn't anything that was being put on it. It was the truth, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank
don't
you for
lie very
sharing.
well.
Me neither,
You
actually.
always know, you
Me
always
neither, yeah.
know if I'm lying.
That's a
I
good
gave
quality.
up lying as a kid because my mum would just look at me and she'd go, yeah, and give me the true story. Okay.
Sensitive, yeah. Yeah. I don't lie
Oh
very well
wow.
either. But mothers know. I think mothers have this extra sense. My my mom always used to say she has eyes at the back of her head. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if it's like a South African mother thing or a worldwide mother thing.
I don't
Um,
know. I used to tell the kids that in my in the classroom. How did you know? How did you know that? They'd say to me, I've got eyes in the back of my head.
yeah. The one time my brother and I actually went searching. We kind of sat them down and
For her eyes.
we try to find these eyes, but obviously we came up short. Yeah. So, who would you like to invite to play this game? Is there anybody that you have
Who
in
would I
mind
like to invite?
that you think would enjoy
Okay,
playing?
this would be quite a fun game to invite people.
Yeah, it could be more than one.
Um,
That's also okay.
yeah. Actually, my friend Rachel would
Mm,
be great to play this game with, I think. She'd
awesome.
be really interesting to play this game with. Rachel Barwell. I'll have to I'll have to tell her recommend her to
Yeah,
you and connect you. She's
that would be
probably
great.
going
Yeah,
to watch this and go, "What the heck, Calli?"
that's what we love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, somebody else who'd be really quite cool to do this with is Mary Scott.
Okay.
Um, and I'll connect you with her too.
Thank you.
Um,
If you've got others in
who
mind,
else?
but you don't want to share them, that's also okay. Yeah.
That's okay. I can't think of anybody. Well,
Mm,
I can think of lots of people that it would be fun to do this with, but
mm.
those two are the people that I think
Yeah.
would be very interesting.
I'd
Yes,
like, I'd love to work with your recommendations and play with them as well. Yeah. That would
yes, yes.
be
I will get hold of them.
if you'd like, we could always do like a collaboration thing, or you could send through some secret questions that you've always wanted to know about them. We can add them in. Yeah, they don't have to
Sounds like fun.
know.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So yeah, if you made this game, what questions would you have asked? Would you improve on it in any way or make it different in any way?
No, it's been fun. I think they're great questions. They're great
Awesome.
questions.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
I
I
think you did a great job.
thank you. Yeah, I just I, I'm I'm happy with how it turned out, but I just want it to be perfect for the other person as well because we can be in our own world sometimes, and I don't want anything to come across poorly. I just want it to be a safe,
No,
happy
no,
space.
it certainly doesn't.
Yeah.
No, they're great. Great questions. I wouldn't
Uh,
change a thing.
awesome. And
Thank
any last words?
you,
Thank
Andre.
you.
That was really quite a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun
Those are
too.
my last words.
I've had a lot of fun too, and I also just want to say thank you to you. When I made this game, like you were definitely the first person I thought of that I needed to play this game with, just because, yeah, I really appreciate sharing everything that you did and your honesty, revealing yourself and being vulnerable, and also staying up late, just to
Yeah,
be here and to have this conversation. I
yeah, well,
appreciate it
I've
because,
enjoyed it.
yeah, I know we're
I've
both
really
in
enjoyed it.
similar boats sometimes with, our businesses on the side, and well, mine's the side, yours is the main. But we can empathize a lot with each other in that sense, I think. So I
Mm,
appreciate it a lot. Um,
absolutely. Well, thank you. It was
thank
great
you.
fun.
Yeah, and
And
from the
anybody who's
PowerPoint,
watching, I recommend have fun
yeah.
and come on here. Actually, it would be really good if they put it down in the comments, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'll
Yes,
have a go.
yes, please. I'd really
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. If there's one thing you need to know about me and this sort of thing, like just send me a message. Anybody who's
Yeah,
keen to play, like I'd love to connect with as many people as possible, because I think that's the whole point. We knew each other before
absolutely.
this, but I think I know a lot more about you now. I don't know if you know a lot more about me, but we'll work on switching those roles.
We'll turn the tables one
Yeah.
of these days, I think.
And that was kind of the aim, just to have a really meaningful conversation.
Yes.
Because our conversations are often with a time limit on them. I mean, it is kind of now, but we don't always get a chance to speak about these deep things. Yeah. So if anybody's watching who wants to play, if you can recommend anybody, let us know in the comments. Send a message to either me or to Callie. Um,
Yeah.
but one last thing, just quickly share how people can get in touch with you, just quickly before we go.
Um, so if you just actually if you just DM me on the Ark Education Facebook page.
Mm,
That that's one way, or www.thearkeducation.co.nz is the website, and you can contact me through the
yeah.
website anytime. And the same with LinkedIn, and the
Mm.
same with
Instagram.
Instagram. So
Okay.
yeah,
I'll maybe I'll edit it into the video somehow later, because I'm gonna put this on YouTube, and I'll definitely drop it in the comments.
sounds
Yeah.
fantastic.
Thank you so much, Kelly, and
Thank you,
I look forward
Oliver.
to working with you this year as well. It's going to be an exciting year
Yeah,
for our
it's going to
partnership.
be very exciting year. We're really looking forward to
Yeah.
it too.
Let me quickly stop sharing the screen. I'll make it big, and yeah, how do I sign off the Facebook Live thing
I
again?
think if you go up to the
Oh,
Facebook Live,
I can click stop live stream here. Yeah.
yes.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye, everyone.